My fellow SADCers, welcome to the home of reliable content, where we marinate you with well-presented, verified information that you can trust. We do this without fear or favor. So, South Africa is seemingly clashing with Zimbabwe on the Mozambican crisis. Yesterday, the government of South Africa issued a statement in which it said that it is concerned about the ongoing violence in Mozambique. It called on parties to commit to an urgent dialogue that will heal the country and set it on a new political and developmental trajectory. The government of South Africa further said that it is ready to assist Mozambique in any manner to facilitate this dialogue, and that it will continue working with SADC and other multilateral agencies in supporting a lasting solution to this current crisis. So, three key takeaways from the South African statement. Number one, the South African government is concerned about the violence currently prevailing in Mozambique. Number two, the South African government wants all responsible parties in Mozambique to sit down and talk to each other. Number three, the South African government wants SADC to help in finding a lasting solution to the Mozambican crisis. Now, let's take a look at the statement released by the SADC chairman, His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa. And this statement was released in light of the Constitutional Council of Mozambique's declaration and validation of the Mozambique general election. So President Mnangagwa says, SADC thus expects all parties to the electoral process, both individually and collectively, to abide by the decision of the Constitutional Council, which should provide a constitutional way forward for the country and facilitate the way to greater peace, normalcy, and stability in the interest of all Mozambicans. SADC stands ready to assist the incoming government and people of Mozambique in consolidating their electoral democracy on the basis of the aforesaid court decision, which should be held sacrosanct by all. Indeed, this is what the rule of law is all about. Further, SADC urges the international community to respect the sovereign will of the people of the Republic of Mozambique, exhorting all concerned to constructively support all processes towards peace, law and order, which the country and people sorely need and deserve. Our region witnessed a record number of national elections in the last 2 years, itself a loud testimony that democracy continues to find deeper roots and to flourish in our SADC region. Those are the words of the SADC chairperson, His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa. So, key takeaways from President Mnangagwa's statement. He doesn't explicitly and clearly mention the violence and let alone condemn it. Furthermore, he's very diplomatic about the need for all parties to dialogue. If anything, he is leaning more towards the need for the opposition to respect the court's decision and shut up. He also says that democracy continues to find deeper roots in Southern Africa. This despite the fact that his own country had a disputed election condemned by all observer mission reports. Namibia also had a disputed election, and of course, Mozambique has just now lost over 130 people because of yet another disputed election in the region. Yet, democracy is flourishing and finding deeper roots in the region, according to the SADC chairman. So, you can see the difference in approach between Zimbabwe and South Africa regarding the Mozambican crisis. But President Mnangagwa's statement is not surprising at all, because it is public knowledge who the Zimbabwean government supports in the Mozambican crisis. Months ago, President Mnangagwa shocked the whole world when he congratulated Frelimo for winning that election, even before the Electoral Commission of Mozambique had announced the results. He further stated that Frelimo and Zanu PF are one. He wasn't lying, you know. They indeed are one. The biggest beneficiary of Mnangagwa's SADC chairship is Frelimo, because Mnangagwa will block any attempt by SADC to intervene in this crisis. Of course, when it comes to these issues, the SADC chairperson works with the chairperson of the organ on politics, defense and security. This organ is the Security Council of SADC and is currently headed by Tanzania. Previously, it was headed by Zambia, and we all know what happened in Zimbabwe. Hichilema almost spoiled it for Zanu PF. So Hichilema is now the outgoing chair. So the current chair of the SADC Security Council is the president of Tanzania, Samia Hassan. But we all know that Tanzania is going to the polls next year. Only recently, hundreds of supporters of Tanzania's main opposition marched in the commercial capital of that country for the first time in many years. The opposition in that country is seeking electoral reforms. They want the constitution to be changed to allow presidential results to be challenged in court, and also to prevent the president from selecting members of the Electoral Commission. All of these issues point to yet another disputed election looming. Loading, this time around in Tanzania. One might be forgiven for assuming that the president of Tanzania might blindly support Frelimo in the hope of getting the same support when she goes to the polls herself in October next year. You scratch your back, I scratch yours too. Ndiwoneo ndizokuonao. But of course, one might say Chama cha Mapinduzi is not worried about any potential electoral defeat because it has always enjoyed overwhelming support. But hey, with the wind of change currently blowing in Southern Africa, who knows? Who really knows? Who thought that the BDP would lose the last Botswana election, especially in the manner and fashion that it did? Of course, there was the Ian Khama factor, but still. Anyway, the point is, Zanu PF will utilize every avenue to block any attempt by anyone to intervene in Mozambique, and Tanzania is one such avenue. Plus, it also helps that Zimbabwe controls the SADC Council of Ministers, which is headed by Frederick Shava. The Council of Ministers is responsible for implementing the decisions and policies of SADC. So, if SADC decides on something, makes a decision on something, guess who makes sure that that decision has been carried out, that policy has been implemented? It's Frederick Shava through the Council of Ministers, which reports to the summit and works closely with the chairperson. Finally, in defending Frelimo, Zanu PF is not just thinking about its economic interests. As you know, Zimbabwe relies on the Beira corridor for about 70% of its imports and exports, and that includes fuel. But for Zanu PF, it's more than just that. You see, Frelimo is an ally like no other for Zanu PF. It is the only political party closest to Zanu PF in ideology and, quite frankly, governance style. Losing Frelimo would almost certainly open the floodgates of the inevitable demise for what ED calls Mbuyaneanda's party. A defeat for Frelimo would serve as a case study for countries like Zimbabwe on how to remove an authoritarian regime. But whatever happens, I'll be here to marinate you with all the details without fear or favor, because on this platform, we say it as it is. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoy the content, please like and share.